When it comes to the sports industry, it is evident that there is gender inequality between men and women. In this video, you are going to examine the different inequalities presented with an emphasis on the wage gap earned by men and women athletes. We will also be discussing how disrespected female athletes are. For solutions to gender inequality in sports, we will be making recommendations on realistic solutions to minimize the wage gap and have sports equality regarding gender. One of our group members, Maddie, has a personal story of gender inequality in sports. Before we get into the rest of our content, we ask that everyone please get out their phones and scan our QR code to answer some poll questions we created that relates to sports and gender. There will be 3 questions. Do you prefer to watch men or women competitive sports on campus? Are you aware of the gender inequality regarding professional sports? And have you noticed your favorite women athletes getting paid drastically lower than men?
From a young age, I was exposed to gender inequality in sports since I was discriminated against because of my gender. My older brothers grew up playing baseball, so I was really into it as a little girl. Of course, me being a girl, I was supposed to play softball, but I played baseball instead as a kid all throughout elementary school. When I played, I would get weird looks from parents, and my coaches would constantly underestimate my abilities just because I was a girl. I would always get pushed towards the bottom of the batting order, and all the boys on the team would get more playing time than me. This made me feel like I wasn't good enough to play, which made me question my athletic abilities. It was hard to learn at such a young age that inequality does exist in sports because this was where I was supposed to be having fun, but instead it was doing the exact opposite. I started to hate going to my practices and games because I felt alienated by my own teammates and spectators. Once I got to middle school, I couldn't continue playing baseball past the age of 10 because baseball is a male-exclusive, dominant sport, so I was required to play softball with just girls.
Maddie wasn't given the chance to play baseball anymore. Some might say this is due to the cultural standpoint that women can't compete with men in sports. Women not being able to get the chance to play a certain sport in school because it's exclusive to men is gender inequality in some aspects. This was clearly unfair for Maddie, but the government came up with a solution to not fully exclude Maddie from playing the sport baseball. The solution the government came up with for scenarios like Maddie's is Title IX. Title IX gives all students the right to equal opportunities to participate in team sports. Title IX can also be interpreted as a law that makes it so schools must have a women's sports team for every male sports team. Title IX is a great law for many aspects. However, it might state it gives equal opportunities, but it's also seen by many as all it does is give women a sport to play because it doesn't want to give women the chance to play a sport with men. Title IX is good, obviously, but it unfairly tries to give justice to the disrespect women get in sports. But that's just in educational sports around the United States. It doesn't address the gender inequality in sports outside of schools, and especially the big problem of the gender pay gap between male and female athletes. A majority of people choose to watch men's sports instead of women's sports, whether it be in person or on television. According to a new USC Purdue study, it found that 95% of total television coverage, as well as the ESPN highlight show, SportsCenter, focused on men's sports in 2019. Only roughly 5.7% of women's sports had ESPN coverage. Statistics have proven how a wide majority of people prefer to watch men's sports instead of women's because of the quicker pace, the stronger athletes, and simply because of more aggression and competitiveness, which citizens believe is more entertaining. These TV ratings have affected women being paid equally. According to Katana DeMont, a Yahoo blogger in the NBA, the National Basketball Association, on average, a men's professional basketball player makes about $5.15 million compared to the Women's National Basketball Association, where a women's player earns on average only roughly $72,000. Also, Karen Ataya, a columnist for the Washington Post, tweeted that Brittany Griner has played in Russia for the last 7 years, earning over $1 million per season, more than quadruple her WNBA salary. Billie Jean King is a former professional tennis player who is most famously recognized for her achievements on the tennis court. Billie Jean King won a total of 39 Grand Slam titles, but her most notable achievement was when she beat Bobby Riggs in the Battle of the Sexes match in 1973. Bobby Riggs claimed that even at the age of 55, he could beat any female tennis player. Billie Jean King accepted this challenge and defeated Bobby Riggs in a televised match, which led to an increase of advocacy in gender disparities in sports. Now at 78 years of age, Billie Jean King's top priority is encouraging women to be in business. And she really wants, quote-unquote, women to follow the money because boys are encouraged to follow the money. We have to do the same thing, Billie Jean King said. Here's a clip of the historic match of Billie Jean King beating Bobby Riggs in the Battle of the Sexes match in 1973.
A lot of ladies would like to have this another double.
Like a perfect gentleman. And so this is what it's come down to here in the Houston Astrodome. The long-awaited match, hustled and promoted ceaselessly and shrewdly by Bobby Riggs. Excitement engendered all over the country as Billie Jean hugs her husband Larry King. It began to become a cause célèbre. Equality for women. Equal rights. It was Billie Jean who fought for equal pay for women in the U.S. Open tennis tournament and got it. All of the women of America, or at least most of them, seem to be caught up with the anticipation of this match. Billie Jean went into virtual seclusion.
There are several ways that we can encourage gender equity in the sports world. The House of Representatives passed a bill that ensures equal pay for women and men playing soccer for the USA national teams. The act is called the Equal Pay for Team USA Act. It will require all athletes representing the United States in global competition to receive equal pay and equal benefits in their sport, regardless of their gender. The bill passed in 2022 and marked the 50th anniversary of the landmark law, Title IX, which some people saw as an unfair way to give women an equal way of playing sports, while others saw it as a law that promoted gender equality in sports. U.S. Soccer President Sidney Parlow Cone said in a statement announcing the bill's passage, "By sending this legislation to the President, both houses have sent a clear message that this is the standard for all national teams in all sports, and it underscores the importance of working with our athletes to achieve equal pay, including equalizing international prize money." A logical solution to gender equality in the sports industry regarding equal pay is making it a well-known issue and having men support women in their fight for spreading awareness.